Hi guys, welcome back to Fresh Talk presented by Estela's Fresh Mex with me, your host, Jada Gyamfi, and I have a very special guest with me here today. Would you like to introduce yourself? I'll give you the honors.
Yeah, I'm JerQuavia Henderson. I'm a 5th, 6th grandma of the team
Super
on
senior.
Iowa. Yeah, super senior. Iowa Women's Gymnastics. I got my undergrad from here and continuing on.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you, and I was just telling Q that I have been doing my research. I prepped for this because normally I just come in and wing it, but I wanted to be really professional today. So I've got some stats here for us because it's not just super senior. It's not just 5th, 6th year.
Yeah.
She has some history here. So we have 3-time All-American, 3rd Hawkeye to earn multiple All-American distinctions, 3-time first-team All-Big Ten, 2nd GymHawk to earn All-American honors in 3 consecutive seasons, and you share a school record on floor scoring a 9.975.
Yes.
Wow. Amazing. I'm like in awe. I have already warned you that I'm going to be asking so many gymnastics questions.
No, I love it.
I just want to know everything because I feel like it's just so different, like, compared to basketball. And this is a world that, like, I'm just not well versed in. I watch the Olympics, I watch you guys, and I watch with little to no knowledge at all. But I think it's very interesting. I think you guys just like fly and soar through the sky, and I'm in awe. So tell me just everything. So how did you get into gymnastics, and what was that like growing up?
Well, I got into gymnastics when I was 5. It's actually a really interesting story. Our close family friends, they were needing someone to take their oldest daughter to practice, and my dad was like, "Oh, like I have time, I can take her." And of course, I was like, "I want to go, like take me with you." So we drop her off, and I just remember I walked in, and it was this huge building, and there were kids running around everywhere, and there was like a pit and a bar and this and that, and like of course I saw like the sparkly Leos, and like I remember watching her practice, and like I immediately turned around and I was like, I want to do that. And my dad was like, and he was like, "Do you know how much gymnastics costs?" I was like, "No, but like that looks fun, like I want to do it." And he was like, "If you do this, like you have to commit to it." And of course, like, 5-year-old doesn't know what commitment is, so I was like, yeah, I got it. I'm gonna do it. So, and like, it was really from, I think a week later, really, like, I was in classes, and they saw that, like, I was actually, like, doing stuff and, like, listening, doing things. Listening partially, but...
Learning to listen.
Yes. But it was, like, a continuation of, like, I want to try this, and just, like, being so curious with everything that was going on, that they were like, "Oh, like, you're pretty good, like, we're gonna move you to team." My parents were like, "We don't know what that means," but like, okay, if she wants to do it. And it was just like year by year by year, like, it was like something I always like wanted to go back to. Like, after school I'd be like jittery, like, oh my god, my parents are gonna pick me up, I'm gonna go to practice, like, it's gonna be so much fun. And it was like really the first time that I was like, this is the sport that, like, it's hard, it's rigorous, all the things, but like I wake up the next day, I'm like, dang, I'm gonna go to gymnastics practice, I'm gonna flip around. So it was really from like that, and me kind of just being curious, like, oh, like, I want to go, I want to see and do all the things. And really from that point I was like, no, like, I want to do this.
Loved it. That's amazing. So I was also giving you a little bit of an insight into my past. I started out, I did gymnastics before I ever played basketball. So, you know, we would do like the butterfly and like all that fun stuff, and then I quickly learned that it's not really my thing. I can't get my body to do anything else besides play basketball, basically. So I quickly learned that was not in the cards for me. But so you said that your parents like had no idea. So this is like, you're the first generation gymnast.
Yeah, I mean, I am still doing it. My younger sisters, both of them, they, Kiara, who's a basketball star now, she did gymnastics up until maybe a few years ago and was really good. And then my youngest, Zuri, is still in gymnastics, and she sends me like little videos. She actually just got her round if I can string, everyone. So, and she did too. And she sent me a video. I was like, why didn't you do that in class? My parents took her to a trampoline park. She just whipped it out. She was like,
dang,
this was the day that I decided I'm no longer afraid and I'm going to do it. And my mom was like, oh my God.
That's amazing.
Like, we pay for you to go to gymnastics. Why are you doing this?
Girl, you're doing it at
right
Sky
now.
Zone.
Yeah. She did it at trampoline park, and she sent me a video. So like, in that regard, it like makes me so happy to see them like fulfilling their dreams and like doing things that like kind of like I was at that age, like curious and just like, oh, like my body can do this, and you're like, oh my God, my body can do that. And like figuring out the things like you're capable of is like just so interesting and so amazing at that age.
Yeah, definitely. I know. I want you to teach me how to do a backflip.
I got you.
I used to be able to do like a back bend. And so I feel like, you know, I've got the foundation laid. And I can do a handstand. So I feel like that's pretty good.
Handstands are hard.
They are. So maybe I can't do one. I can't remember the last time I tried.
Fair
but
enough.
Maybe I'll try one day.
It's
I'll send you a video.
Of like wrists and fingers and like shoulders.
Yeah. And I don't know if I can like
it's a lot of multitasking if you think about it.
It sounds like a lot to me. I'm going to take back my statement. I don't think I can do one. But we'll get there. We're going to build it up. But yeah, so you started out when you were 5, and then what does that look like? Because I had a friend who did gymnastics, and I remember just thinking like, wow, that is a big time commitment. Like scheduling with classes, I remember was like always kind of a difficult thing. So what does that look like as you're going into like middle school and high school?
It's pretty much the same going into it. What school starts, say 7:30, 8. Bell rings at 8, so 7:30. You're getting up around 6. Yeah, around 5:30, 6 o'clock. And then me, because I'm slow in the morning, doing everything I need to do, and then making sure, like, nutrition-wise, like, my parents were always like, make sure you have breakfast, make sure you have a snack, so, like, getting all of that stuff in. School doesn't get out until 3:30, and then I'd have practice from 6 to 9, and I would have a 30-minute commute to my gym. And then after that, I would come home, and then I would have homework, and it was, like, up until maybe, like, 12, 1, and then I'm like, hey, like, I need to shower, I need to get all my stuff together, and then go to bed, and you do it all again the next day. So it was hard because I understood my commitment, but I also being a teenager and, like, just being a human being, I was like, oh, like, I want to go to this, I want to do this, I want to go to the football games, and I want to do this. But my parents, being college athletes, they both did dual sport in college. Yeah, so my mom did basketball and softball, and my dad did track and cross country. So yeah, they both did 2 sports in college, with them just instilling in me, like, the understanding of, like, these kids are living for the moment, you're living for the bigger picture. And I didn't understand it at the time, and now I'm literally a record saying it to my younger sisters, like, I know you want to do this, but listen, like, you have this goal, you have this ambition, this thing that you want to do, and, like, you are going to be there, but you have to put in the work now. So and that's for all athletes, is kind of realizing, like, there is this bigger picture, and it's so hard to understand that at that age, because, you know, high school's new, and, like, you want to go to the football games, and your friends are doing this, but it's like, no, like, I have practice, like, I don't have time, like, I would love to go to the mall, but, like, I'll go on Sunday with my mom, like, you know, things like that. So it definitely was hard, but having my parents kind of, like, have me realize it made it a little easier, but it was definitely difficult, especially being in the gym for 4 hours, and then you're doing every single event every single day, and then plus stretch, and then plus, you know, hard conditioning. It was just, like, always a lot. Yeah. I remember, like, being in that same situation. Obviously, like, basketball is way different, so, like, my hours were a lot shorter than yours, obviously, but I remember, like, in the moment thinking the same things, like, gosh, I would love to just be, like, a normal kid. I would love to go, like, I want to go to the haunted house with my friends. And it's like, no, like, you have a tournament in Omaha or whatever. And so that was always, like, something really hard for me to understand, is, like, something's got to give. If you want to be great at one thing, you have to kind of let something else go. Right.
And, like, I don't know, there's great opportunities on both ends, but, like, it's just amazing to hear like that commitment that you made at such a young age, and like it's really paying off, obviously, in all the great things that I've listed. Like it really is paying off for you, and that's amazing. So like, okay, now it's getting into the moment where I'm just like so curious, because it's like for me, we would practice like 2-3 times a week as a team, and then it was tournaments every weekend. Like that was our like competitions.
Right.
So what was competition like for you growing up before you got to college? Like what is that whole?
We would have, I mean, season for JO, which is like, it used to be called JO, which is Junior Olympic, but now it's called Dev, which is like developmental.
Okay.
So for my JO season, it would be, we would train, and I didn't have summers off, so like traveling was just like not a thing. I finally, like this past summer, had like my first summer off ever in my career. It was weird. I was just like going everywhere, so it was like fun, but like, oh, like I don't know where I'm going now.
Yeah, people are always amazed when I tell them, I'm like, I've never been on like a true vacation, and they're like,
what is that?
They're like, what do you do during spring break? I'm like, play basketball. What do you do in the summer? I'm like, play basketball.
Yeah.
And in the winter, I play basketball. So
yes.
I'm like, vacation. I've like to this day, I don't even think I've really been on a true one, but it's like, that's just kind of, that's how it is for us, I guess. But
it is very much like year round. And then for JO, it starts like December. So for college, we start like early January, but for JO kids, it's like November, December that you like your first meet, and then you're literally going all the way through with almost a meet every single weekend until I'd say April, May. Well, not, yeah, I'd say like maybe April. It kind of depends on like what your career is, if you're elite, if you're just doing regular, and that also includes like qualifying to state and then regionals and then nationals and then like you making national team. So a lot of my seasons were compete, and then, you know, qualifying to state, and then from state to regionals, and then from regionals to nationals, and then being on the national team qualifying for something else. So it was like go, travel, all the things, and also like having to talk to my teachers like, hey, like what work do I need for this week, because I'm going to be gone on Friday because I have a meet on Saturday halfway across the country. Like, you know, so it was a lot of learning how to advocate and communicate within school, and then also with like coaches of like, okay, like I know this meet's coming up, what vault am I doing, what's my beam routine gonna look like making sure that I'm checking in with certain people. So in a way, like it kind of like makes you grow up a little bit. When it's,
I was gonna ask, do you feel like you matured like way early?
100%. And like not fully but like there are a lot of things that my parents were like, okay, like, you know, my mom has a calendar on the fridge, and if it's not on the calendar, it's not getting done. So, you know, when we're like, oh, like, you know, but I told you, she's like, is it on the fridge?
I don't see it.
Then we're not going. So it's instilling that, like, if you really want to do something, you know, you have to take accountability. Like, I have a meet this weekend. This is what time. This is where it is. Like, making sure, like, our Google Calendar's up to date. So it's a lot of, like, the little pieces that my parents kind of get us to do. That's why, like, when I came to college, it was so much easier for me to, like, be on my own and, like, be organized in that way. But it was a lot of, like, scheduling and making sure, like, your meet starts at this time, you know that warm-up takes this long, you need to be there 2 hours before in case of, like, parking and all of that stuff. And, like, of course, parents help out with it, but it was a lot of, like, moving pieces and then gymnastics. And it was always, like, moving pieces. Okay, like, gymnastics became the easy part at the end of the day.
So, okay, guys, my new obsession, Poppi. The flavor is so good, and it doesn't hurt my tummy, which is what I really like about it. It's good and healthy for your gut, and it tastes amazing. This is my favorite flavor, if you guys are wondering. It's Doc Pop, and another fan favorite is the orange creamsicle. But if you haven't tried it, you definitely should, because it's my favorite. So Key is how old?
She's, oh my God, she's 14.
She's 14, so you guys have...
Her birthday's this month.
Oh.
She's gonna be 15.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy, because...
I'm getting my permit. Stop.
What?
Stop.
That's crazy. Okay, so Q's little sister, basketball phenom.
Yes.
So she's done, like, Iowa men's basketball camps, and I think that I might have met her when I was a camper for the first time, because I think it used to be different. So she was, like, a little kid camper when I was, like, a big kid camper, and so now it's, like, to the point where I would coach her at camp. And so that's crazy that she's going to be driving a car. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's really scary. But so was it hard for like, because my sister is 2 years older than me, and so she did basketball as well, and I remember that was always like hard, like, okay, Maya has a game at this time, but it's at a different gym, and like that kind of stuff. So did that also happen when you guys were younger?
Only a little bit, just because like, again, I'm 23 now, she's about to be 15. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, so you have a little bit more.
Yeah,
of an age
it's
gap.
more of an age gap, and then our youngest is 7. So I feel like in that regard, when I was off college, all the things, her career started picking up. So it was kind of like, it was easier for my parents in that sense, because yes, of course, Zuri has all of her things, but right now it's like, okay, Kiara has this, she's about to fly to Texas, she's doing this, she's doing that. And then, you know, when she is off in her college career, then it's going to be Zuri, you know, running her around everywhere. So it kind of worked out in a weird way.
They did good with the timing
where
there.
it like it's spread out enough where it's like, all right, like you're off at college, like we got to focus on this kid now. So I don't know, it never really overlapped unless it was like, unless it was college really. If Kiara had a game, then my mom would come out with Zuri or vice versa. Like it would either be like one parent or everyone would come, but I told my parents, I was like, with my meets, like, you've seen me compete a million times, like, if you're not there, that's fine, like, you need to go.
Be with the younger ones. Yeah, my siblings did that too, so shout out to them. Thank you for that, because I very much was like, if my mom was like, I can't be at your game, like, my sister, or, like, Maya's playing, I'd be like, what do you mean you can't come to my game? Like, who cares if Maya's playing? It's my game. I want you to be at my game.
Right.
Really, Mom? Yes. And I would pull, like, the baby card all the time.
No.
So, yeah, I'm a baby, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah, spoiled a little bit. But so you talked about the transition into college, and that was, like, what was that like for you academically? And, like, well, both sides.
I think hard either way, just because it is new, and, like, there are just so many things. I feel like college is one of those things that, like, you can talk about it and prepare for it, but you're never really gonna, like, know.
Until you get there.
Yeah, until you're, like, in the dorms and you're like, oh, all the showers are used up and, like, I want a shower. Like, just the things that, like, you talk about, but, like, you really have to experience it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know. It was, like, odd, but also, like, I had a good group of people around me, and, like, especially, like, the seniors at my freshman time were always just, like, so accommodating and helping, and, like, they would always, like, check in on us and make sure. I think a few of them would always come over to the dorms and, like, do puzzles with us, just, like, random things to make sure that they knew, like, if we needed something that, like, they could be there, call, whatever. Yeah. But I think because I had such a good support system, like, it made it easier. And, like, even with school, like, I was never, like, the best at school. Like, I don't know, school was just always, like, I'm, like, trying to focus, and I'm like, oh, my God, butterfly. Like, it's, like, same. I'm, like, that kid.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm, like, I'm really trying to focus, I promise. And I'm, like,
But this little thing.
Yeah. So it, like, for me, like, that was also an adjustment. But I think being able to, like, create my own schedule and, like, figure out, like, okay, I'm a morning person. Like, afternoon classes are very draining. So, like, it was a lot of, like, learning and unlearning, and then, like, oh, like, I think this works, and it's like, that does not work for me.
Never mind.
Yeah, so freshman year was definitely a lot of, like, learning, and then my sophomore year was, like, a lot easier just because I knew myself better. Yeah. So, yeah, it was definitely a process, and, like, also being hurt on top of that. Yeah. My freshman year was, like, I had more time to figure it out, and, like, not traveling and, like, things like that. So, yeah, I don't know. My freshman year was, like, a lot of learning and growing and all of the things. Yeah. When
I think back to my freshman year, I feel like my brain was scrambled eggs. Like, so much learning, because it's not just, like, you're learning basketball, you're learning the new social life. Yes. You have a whole new team with whole new people and those different relationships, and then your social life as well. And then it's like, oh, crap, I'm in school, too. Yeah. And, like, you kind of got to be good at school. Like, you're in college. Yeah. It's not, like, high school, like, easier stuff, like it's papers and time management, and I was like, I felt like I just got thrown into the water a little bit, because, like, yes, you do prepare, and, like, my older siblings had gone through it, so I was like, oh yeah, like, I got this. Like, I know how to do my laundry. I'm like, I know what I need from the store. And then I got here and I was like, Mom, like, what do I fill my fridge with? Like, I still call her and ask her, I'm like, but do I need, like, a whole gallon of milk? I'm like, I don't know. There's so many things. I get the
skinny one. And then when it runs out, I'm like, I just bought this 3 days ago.
Literally.
But then I don't want the big one.
Because I feel like if I buy the big one, it goes bad because I don't drink it. But then it's like you get the small one.
But I'm drinking the small one.
Right.
The math isn't math.
It's not. And I feel like that's the good plus about siblings, is they would pick up where everything left off. Like, that it would always be gone. The juice always gone in my house. If my siblings watch this, you know who I'm talking about. They would always, I'm like, there's nothing left for me. And now I'm like, I only shop for myself.
Yeah.
Like, it's very stressful.
It's very weird.
It's so weird. It's so weird. It takes a lot of unlearning and relearning for sure. Okay, so more about gymnastics. So tell me about, okay, I don't want to get anything wrong. So there's vault, and there's floor, and there's beam, and bars.
Yep.
And that's it?
Yep.
Okay, so 4 different things, and you do all of them.
Yes.
And everyone does all of them?
So in college, it's really up to like you and the coach's discretion. Ooh. So we've had a lot of people who aren't bar specialists because of like previous shoulders, whatever. You just like don't like bars, or like if you feel like, oh, like I'm good at it, but like I'm not like a strong contributor, then you know you focus heavily on either your like really good event or your other 3 really good events, or you're just 2. So it kind of depends on like the person, what they want, and kind of what the coaches are like. Oh, like if you don't want to do bars, you don't have to do bars. So it really depends, because we have a lot of specialists. Okay. Yeah, we have a lot of people who are like key people on one event. And then we have people who are key people on all events. So it really depends. Yeah,
that's nice. I would love, that would be fun in basketball. Yeah. It's like, okay, you only shoot 3-pointers.
Yes.
You only shoot layups. I'd be like, sign me up. 3-pointers over here, please. So that's nice. So do you have like, what's your thing? Or is it all things? Because, so I looked at your stats, and it looks like you're pretty good at everything, is what I kind of gathered.
Okay.
It's okay. You can toot your own horn. The cockiness, we appreciate that here.
I would say, for me personally, I know that I, like, struggle more on bars, just because, like, shoulders aren't that flexible. But, like, I get it done. I do what I need to do. We maneuver a lot.
Yeah.
And then I would say, I think over the past 2 years, I've gotten a lot better at beam, as far as, like, my confidence and all of that stuff, and that comes from, like, doing clinics and camps and kind of teaching about beam. So like that's really nice. Yeah, so like shout out Beam Queen for that. But like running those like camps and clinics helped me like gain a different perspective also. Yeah. So like I just feel like a lot of my like confidence through beam like shot up, and then I became good at beam, and I was like, oh, like I'm like that, my score counted. Yeah. Like y'all see that? My score counted on beam. Okay. I just wanted to make sure everyone knows. Yep, but everyone saw that. Perfect. And then, like, I guess I'm, like, more known for floor, I think.
Yeah, that's what your picture is on the HawkeyeSports.com. Is it actually? Oh. Yep. And that's why I was like, okay, I was trying to learn all these things. That's so funny. I know. I'm, like, a stalker. I'm, like,
no, it's okay. I want to know, but, like, I don't want to know from me. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. And then I think, like, vault, I think, is, like, probably paired favorite with floor. But I think I'm, like, more known on floor, I guess.
Yeah. So are those your favorite to do? Like, what's your, like, if you could only pick one, what would it be?
Only one? Okay, I will say it depends on the day.
Okay, fair.
And I think it would either be vault or floor. Just because, and it's, like, and I've said this in every single interview I've ever done in my life. It's because I always said when I was younger, like, I want to fly. And, like, that's literally what you do in gymnastics is, like, really you get to fly. So, like, when I'm, like, going in the pit, I'm like, yeah, like, I could mess up. Like, I'm not going to get hurt. It's a foam pit. Right. So you literally can, like, do pretty much whatever you want. Yeah. And it's like, ooh, wee. Yeah. And, like, even when you do get it wrong, wee. Like, I'm going into a foam pit. Yeah. So it is, like, gymnastics is, like, the closest thing you get to being a superhero at the end of the day. Like, you get to fly. Like, I just think that's probably, like, my favorite thing about the sport is, like, when you think about it, you're technically a superhero at the end of the day because you are flying for 4 hours every day.
I know, and that's how I see you guys, too. Like, that's literally exactly how I describe it. I'm like, you guys just kind of fly through the sky and you do really cool things. Like, whenever I watch and I try to understand, like, whenever, like, a point gets deducted or whatever, I'm like, but I don't see what was wrong because to me, all of it looks really cool. Like, You could make an error and I seriously would not notice. I would think it would be a part of the routine, but I'm sure other people would be like, ooh, she didn't.
It's very technical.
Yeah.
It's very,
I feel like I would
picky.
struggle with that because I'd be like, it's close enough. I'm like, so my
Right.
toes aren't. I'm like, just give it to me, please. That's why, like,
fair.
basketball, it's easy to kind of hide some of your mistakes. Like, sometimes, like, a ball will get tipped, but your teammate still caught it. That happened to me the other day. Shout out, Lucy. Thanks for catching that pass. And I'm like, oh, it still worked. Like, no, it wasn't pretty, but, like, you know, you still get 2 points. But
Fair enough.
I feel like gymnastics is very, like, every little thing.
Yes.
Is
It's
that,
very
like...
detail oriented.
Yeah. Is that, like, what's the hardest part about gymnastics?
I feel like there are a lot of hard parts again because there's so many just moving parts. I'd say like maybe growing up in the sport, it's something that like I struggled with is like the mental piece of it is because like you're doing something, say you like have the skill for years and then all of a sudden you like you literally can't get your body to go and you're like, what is wrong with you? Like what's going on? So I mean it's not about, you know, who's the fittest, who's the whatever. Like, it really is a mental game between you and yourself. So I think that's, like, the hardest part. And also just coming from a sport, we are the only sport that goes from perfection, and then the judge is like, just kidding, you're not. And you're like, okay. Like, that's rude of you, but it's fine. But it's, like, you grow up in that constance of, you know, we're going to start you out at perfect, and then we're going to tell you that you're not. So I think it's a lot of, like, that mental piece of it, too, is making sure that girls know, like, your score does not define your worthiness in this sport. Like, you can do a trillion cartwheels and whatever else, and you can do things as long as you feel like it's perfect, then it is. Yeah. And I feel like that's such an interesting concept to grasp just because, like, I know a lot of people for me on floor, they're like, oh, like, you know, you deserve a 10 and, you know, you haven't gotten one. I mean, no. Do the judges think I'm perfect? No. Yeah. But, like, I mean, at the end of the day, I got to a point in my career where I don't look at my scores. Yeah. I refuse to. I don't even like numbers like that. But, like,
real.
Really not a mathematician. Not at all.
No. Not me at all.
So it's like after every routine, I got to a point where I started asking myself, did you feel good about it? Yeah. Could you have done this better? Probably. Okay. And, like, taking the feedback from myself. And, of course, like, the score matters, but to a certain extent, it matters team-wise. Yeah. Right? Because it's counting, all of those things. But I got to a point where I was like, how do I feel about it? What did I feel went wrong watching my own tapes? But, like, I never let the score determine, like, oh, like, I got a 9975. That means I did this, this, and this. No. Like, you got a 9975 because your pinky toe is sticking out and it doesn't look pointed. Like, girl, what? Yeah. So it's, like, things like that where it's, like, it's a mental game. And, like, either you're going to let that score disrupt your piece or you're going to go chew on some McDonald's and be like, I'll get them next time. Yeah. And that's, like, all you can do. Yeah. So it really is growing up with that, like, ooh, like, I really want my score to be this. I really want my score to be this. And you're literally chasing perfection. Yeah. But we're human. We're not going to be perfect. Yeah. It's such a weird concept and, like, thing to, like, unlearn. Yeah. Because you start at, you're going to be perfect. And then, like, after you see your score flash, you're like, what? Yeah. What did it, like, literally, what did I do wrong? That's, like, the first question that you ask. What did I do wrong? I feel like that would be, that is crazy to think. Because I never think about it in that sense at all. Like, in basketball, you obviously start out 0-0. Yeah. Like, it would be crazy to walk into a game and know, okay, we're going to lose by 8 points. Right. And then you play the game even though, like, I don't know, and you're just waiting to see where you messed up because you know that you're not going to win or whatever, get perfect.
I feel like that would be challenging. That's definitely something that I would struggle with. It's a good thing when I hit first grade, I was like, gymnastics, no. Could you imagine? Oh, gosh, I should never be flipping out. Okay, so obviously, like, I think it's always important for myself, especially, to understand that basketball is not my identity. And I feel like that's something that's kind of newer when it comes to athletes, is to understand that, like, yes, you are a gymnast and I'm a basketball player, but that's not who I am. So outside of your sport, what brings you the most joy? What do you love to do?
Oh gosh.
It can be lots of things.
I think it is a lot of things. So I work in mental health. I'm a mental health counselor, and that in itself, I think, brings me a lot of joy, just because I get to help other people literally along with their journeys, like sitting through counseling sessions and kind of having them talk through things. I think that's like probably like one of the biggest things I advocate for in general. So the fact that like I do that for work is like really cool to me. I love snacks, like real bad, real
sweet,
bad.
salty.
Sweet, yeah.
What's your go-to?
Hot tamales and Oreos.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do you do Oreos with milk?
Yes. But do you do double stuffed or single?
I like single.
Ooh. Yeah, we can.
Cut. We're done.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Okay, so let me tell you about this life hack. So you might already know this because you love Oreos, but so when I do Oreos with milk, I put it on a fork.
Yes.
You do
it's
it?
the only way to eat it.
Thank you. People look at me like I'm crazy when I do that. It makes life so much easier, because what do I look like putting my fingers in milk and like you slide it on the fork, do a little swirl. I like to do a little swirl just for fun.
Yes.
It's the only way to eat it. Yeah, I'm like does nothing to the cookie at
all.
It's so fun. And it's like mess free.
Yes.
It's a way to go.
Yes.
I love that. I'm a snacker
milk and
too.
milk and Oreos, and then hot tamales. So
that's so interesting.
So before, I don't know if like many people know this, but I would always wear this really big parka at our meets, and in one pocket I would have Oreos, in the other pocket I would have hot tamales, and people would literally see me. I'd have my headphones in, I'm like walking around the arena, I'd have my like little fuzzy socks on and stuff, and like I'm literally eating hot tamales and Oreos before my floor routine.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, just let me know when it's my turn. Like I watch parts of the routines, but not like all of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, like I don't get like jittery, but I feel like sometimes I need to like
be in your zone.
Yeah, like be with myself first, and like I always like say a prayer before like I do any of the events. So I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna have like my alone time, and I'm like in a back corner somewhere, literally chomping down before I do a floor routine, which is so crazy because everyone's like, oh my god, you're so good at gymnastics. You know, you must eat so healthy. No, girl.
She's got double snacks.
No,
double
for
pockets.
real. 1, 2.
That's amazing.
So
I love
I'm like,
that.
yes, like I do the whole nutrition thing, whatever. But like that was always like, as soon as I put my parka on, my teammates are like,
yep, we know what she's doing.
yeah, she's about to go snap. Yes, every time. And it was like my thing. And the one meet that I didn't compete, Terry, the athletic trainer, I think he retired. Yes.
Yeah.
The one meet that I didn't compete, I got sick. And he was traveling with us. And he was like, oh, like they're trying to figure out what's wrong with me. I think I had food poisoning or something. And he comes over, he goes, Q, I know why you're sick. You didn't have hot tamales today. I was like, oh my god, you're right. You're so right. And I started crying. And he's like, you literally didn't have any hot tamales today. That's why you're getting sick. I was like, oh my god, I think you're right. And he was just so dead serious. He was like, I think this is literally the reason why you might be sick.
Yes, this is why things are going south. I love that.
Every time. And like, I can't, like, it's like a thing now. Like, I don't compete without a box of hot tamales.
Is that like your biggest superstition?
I don't have superstitions. It's just like I think I just like to snack.
It's not even a superstition.
I think I just really like my snacks. I don't know.
That's real. I respect that.
I should probably like look inward on that at some point.
Figure out the root of that one.
Maybe.
That's all right. I know. I'm always curious to see like, because I feel like there are so many funny little stories like that where it's like you do a certain thing, but like maybe the reason you do it is really funny. Like, I don't know. I have a ton of superstitions. I don't consider myself to be superstitious. But, like, I've discovered that maybe I am, and maybe I just was lying to myself. But I think that's so interesting because, like, our whole team, like, we do, like all these mini little itty bitty things like aren't huge, but it's like, okay, if someone stands in the wrong spot in the circle, we're like, yep, you're the reason that this went bad. And it's like, it's so interesting. So you don't have any, just your double snacks. I
don't think so. That's really like the only thing that like every consistent. Meet I do. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I think it became like a silly thing for me. And like for competition, I think it was like the thing that kind of just like brought me out. Because even in my head, I'm like, girl, why are you chomping on junk food before
while you're doing it? You're like, why?
I'm like, we're at Big Tens and like you have a title to uphold and you're about to snack. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am.
You're right.
Yeah, I am. But like, I think for me, it's like, okay, like that's kind of silly, but like it's also like my thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, why not? And like it just kept going every single year. And like everyone knows, like, oh, like what should we get Q? Hot tamales. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like the default is hot tamales. I think I got 4 boxes for my like secret Santa gift.
That's so funny. Not a lot of people like that's not a common sweet treat I see people eating. No. My mom loves hot tamales. Like
really?
Yes, and I would always try to like enjoy them with her, and I'm like, they're hot. Like they are hot.
Yeah.
They burn. They sting, and I'm like, this is just, it's almost an acquired taste.
Yeah.
It's very cinnamon forward.
It is, but the thing that my teammates make fun of me for the most is I don't really like spicy things. Like, no, hear me out. I don't really like spicy things unless it's like gumbo or like crawfish boil or seafood boil.
Oh, God.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I've been craving. Can we get a spot in Iowa City that does seafood boils?
I would just like to say that our coach Craig said that he was going to do seafood boil. I'm holding you to that. So when you do it, let me know.
Can we do 2 different teams as a part of that? Can like a couple of us maybe come? Okay,
yeah.
that
we'll
sounds
pitch
really
in.
great. Yeah, I mean, I'll bring some lobster. I'll bring lobster. I'll bring anything you need me to bring. Just someone cook it for me.
Yeah, but like I don't really like spicy stuff, and like my spice tolerance is low. But I'll eat that. I also don't like cinnamon.
Are you sure? Are you sure, though?
I think so. Listen, Delulu is the Solulu at the end of the day.
I love that. I'm using that. I'm that.
But like I don't like cinnamon rolls. I don't like the smell of cinnamon. I don't like the like if I like taste anything other than hot tamales that is like cinnamony and
What do you like about the
gum?
candy?
I don't know.
You don't even like cinnamon gum?
No.
I'm so confused.
Me too. And it's been a journey of trying to figure it out. Haven't gotten there yet. When I do, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's so interesting.
But I will eat hot tamales until the day I die.
You will never rip those out of her hand. I love that.
No. Yeah, so that's like I eat them all the time, but like I don't like cinnamon. Like I think it's just I've convinced myself.
You have to stick to the bit.
Yeah. Like that's like the one thing. It's like when your parents make something and then you make it, it's not as good. So I'm like, no, like I will only eat ribs when my dad makes them. But any other time I don't really like ribs. You know?
I get that actually.
I think it's
when you explain it like that, that makes more sense to me. Other than I don't like spicy things and I don't like cinnamon, but my favorite candy is hot tamales.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you that. I understand that. That's like when my mom makes biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
I won't eat biscuits and gravy anywhere else.
No.
But from my mom's kitchen.
Yes.
That's understandable.
It's very different. It's like home cooked breakfast versus like IHOP breakfast.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like IHOP will do, but like there's nothing that's beating.
Yeah, like I need like the made with love. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like that's
gosh.
like
that's my mom. Oh my gosh. I will ask my mom, and anyone in my family can vouch for this. If you ever ask her like, "Oh, yours is so good. Like, what's your special like whatever?" She's like, "It's love. Like I just make it with love." I'm like, "Girl, tell the truth. You're lying."
Put a little something
yeah,
in
I'm like,
there.
"What is it? Tell me." She's
and
so
like we all definitely turned around at one point. You said, "Doop."
Mm-hmm.
I believe it.
She's a liar, Mom.
Yeah. She goes, "You'll understand when you have kids." No, I need you to tell me.
Tell me right now. Yeah. I'm asking you right now. Who cares about the future? Right now. That's so real. Oh my gosh. Okay, my last question, and this is something that I just love to hear people's perspective, and I'm stealing this from the TikTok trend, and it's what about gymnastics would put a NARP in a coma? I love hearing like people's different perspectives.
Put a NARP in a coma?
Yeah.
Wait, can you like explain?
Yes. Okay, so NARP,
Wait, no, wait.
Oh.
No, wait.
I'm like, how much explaining?
No, wait, I know the NARP, but like
what would be like if a normal person went to do this in gymnastics, it would be like too much. They'd be like, no, like I can't. Or, like, what about the gymnast lifestyle? Because, like, for me, I would say, like, oh, God, I'm trying to think. Like, running a 17, which is, like, 17 sprint touches. Like, if a NARP had to do that at
oh my gosh,
6 a.m., they'd be like...
I fear it would be everything. Just because...
I think that gymnastics would put just an athlete in Coma, honestly.
I got you. Fun fact, if you put an iPhone on the beam, the beam... I think is either just like enough smaller than an iPhone because it's only 4 inches. You get 4 inches
for your foot to fit on.
Yeah, like you get 4 inches of get her done. Literally, you have 4 inches.
That's
the beam
crazy.
Is 4 inches. So either getting up on that and like doing like a jump or a cartwheel, and mind you, like we like. Flip.
Yeah.
Or like.
Oh my gosh.
On bars, what? I'm like 5'2 1/4.
Period. Oh my God, I'm like a whole foot taller than you.
Yeah.
That's really
I fear
scary.
I am average. Maybe slightly under. I don't know. I'm gonna check on that.
A little bit under.
Ooh. Dang.
We don't have to tell anyone.
Tried.
Okay.
But like the bar is maybe like here. Like it's like somewhere near my face. Yeah, because I can't walk under it, so it's like maybe here. Right? And then you have the high bar. So that's about 8 feet, 8, 9 feet, something like that in the air. And then, again, we're doing handstands. We're doing giants. We're also, like, flipping off of it. So I think, like, I don't know. I think it might just be, like, actually, like, doing things. Because I always say, like, once you get on the beam, it's, like, less scary.
Yeah.
But then you're also, like, looking down. And, like, you know, the mats are blue, and then it's like, dang, I'm about to fall in the ocean. So it's like...
oh, my gosh. That would get me. I'm not over the fact that it's, like...
Yeah. I will literally have to check, but I think if you put an iPhone...
yeah,
if you put an iPhone on the beam, it's either... I think it's only, like, just a smidge bigger on both sides. Or it might be really the exact same size. So if you go, like...
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, my feet are too big for that. Wow.
So you literally are standing on an iPhone and doing
your
flips and
precision
tricks.
to like jump up, flip, and then know where. Oh my gosh, I would just hurt myself so much.
It's a lot of air awareness that people like. I think people get it, but again, like once you do it, it's like, oh,
yeah,
crap. Like I really have to know where I am, especially like God forbid something goes wrong. But it's like you like really have to know like where you are, what you're doing at all times, and of course there are like little like tips and tricks we learn along the way. But like your arms aren't in a certain position, like you're gonna fall. If your like feet aren't in a certain position, you're gonna fall. So it's like knowing you have to know.
It's too much for me. It's way too technical. So when you like, oh my, like what do you? Do you close your eyes when you flip like ever?
So
the pictures of me, I'd be like,
yes and no. Like we're told to like watch our hands, watch our feet, like while we're doing stuff. I'm supposed to wear my contacts when I do gymnastics, but I fear it makes me see a little too well, so I take them out.
Oh,
like
okay.
I need it to be like a little fluffy, like a little like blurred.
Yeah.
I can't explain that, but like I can't do gymnastics with my contacts in because I see too well, and I don't like that I can like see that the beam is right there. Like
she said, I need to be a little bit blind.
Yeah, like I need
sense,
when I'm running towards the vault for it to be like a you know.
It's not as serious.
It's
not as serious when you can't see.
For real. Like I can see
that.
directly in front of me, but I need it to be like a little like daydreamy.
Yeah.
Is what I say.
That's amazing. I would do that as well.
Yeah. So I don't close my eyes. I'm just a little blind. Yeah.
I love that.
Don't recommend, but
yeah.
It's it's what I do. It's just like the hot tamales and Oreos. I don't know. I just need to not see a little. Yeah. I just need to not see a little.
I respect that. So after hearing all these things, maybe this crossover that we have isn't going to work. You guys can come play basketball. I don't know if I'm going to stand on a beam.
But the thing is,
I would need you guys to hold my hand.
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
we'll hold your hands. And we have like little beams too. Like we have like smaller ones. We can we can like lower the beams. We can lower. Listen, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to like be on a little beam in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to have to happen.
That would be so sad. I remember that about my gymnastics career all those years ago. The beam was very much shorter. And it was pink, so I loved that.
Oh, period. I love a pink beam.
Yeah.
But we can, like, lower them. We also have the pit and the trampoline. So, like, the trampoline gives you more bounce. And we all know how to, like, spot. And of course, we have our coaches, too. But, like, going in the foam pit, you can
that I would
do anything, like, anything you want. As long as you land in the pit, you're good. Like, does not matter.
I would be trouble.
And we have a pit at the end of the beam. So you can jump off
nice.
of it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That would be fun.
Yes.
I'm feeling better now. I'm like, oh,
like,
yeah,
no, like, we want to make this happen. Like, we're so excited.
Yeah, I forget that you also, like, do a thing off of the beam as well and land that. There's so many things that you guys do. There's so many things.
There's so many moving parts and, like, so many things you can do. Like, if you ever look up, like, there's a code book for gymnastics, so it's every skill that's ever been named ever or ever been done is in that book. So, like, the biles and all of those are now in the code book. So there's all these skills from, like, a forward roll to a cartwheel to a handstand. All of these skills are in this book.
Yeah.
That, you know, they're worth, like, an A or a D. So every skill has its own value. So it goes A, B,
that's
C,
the
D.
difficulty when they...
Yes.
Okay.
So that's, there
we go.
Okay,
I watched a little bit. Look at that. The difficulty.
Yes. So the difficulty determines whether you start at a 10, you start at like a 9-8, it determines your start value. Yeah, so however much difficulty you have in your routine determines your start value. Yeah, so in college you want to start from a 10, and sometimes like a lead off, they don't start from a 10, they'll start maybe like 2 tenths below. So it kind of depends on like what's in your routine. But yeah, there's like a whole book of just fun stuff that you can do, try all the things.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I want to just, I'm going to be at home tonight looking up, like, all the different things. I just want to, it's so interesting to me. And, like, I seriously, like, I mean this when I say this, I could never do what you guys do, ever, ever, ever. I feel like, I'm going to say it's because I'm too tall. And there's, you guys might not know this, but they told me that there's a height restriction. So if you're, like, 6'2", and you can't do it, so.
Oh, well, yeah, because...
The aerodynamics of it.
Yeah, I think that, and then also, like, the bars, too, if you're doing giants.
Yeah, I'm too tall for the first
We've
bar.
had some tall girls, like, on our team who have, like, made it work, and they were amazing. But, like, you just have to know your body and where it is literally at all times.
I'm never good at that.
Yeah.
Like, when you're like, oh, you'd have to wash your hands and feet. No. I would just want to close my eyes the whole time.
It's very hard. And sometimes we don't know either, and it's okay.
Yeah, I feel that way on the basketball court, too. I'm like... Sometimes I just kind of dance around and, like, things work out, and it's amazing. Yes. Gosh.
And sometimes you just got to be like, listen, I'm going to try again tomorrow. I was here today, and that's enough.
Yeah, showing up. Sometimes that's all you got to do.
Present.
Present. Physically, maybe not mentally, but it's fine.
You got to have some hard days.
Yeah. You're telling me. Gosh. Well, thank you so much for teaching me so much about gymnastics.
Thank you.
And this has been so entertaining. I loved getting to know you and hear about your story.
Thank you so much.
I feel a little bit inspired, I'm not going to lie.
Aww.
And I'm... just so excited to watch you guys this season.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you for having me. And also, shout out Patrick McCaffrey. I miss you. Hope you're doing well for setting this whole thing up.
Yeah.
So proud of you. Yeah. But I'm so excited. I might start my own little podcast.
Yes, I love it.
I'm literally so inspired from this. You don't even know.
It's so much fun.
I'm going to go home and put a bunch of things on my Pinterest.
Yes. I love that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.